Two-legged unicorns.
Thanks,
Yes. Some people call us humans, but whatever.
Thank you.
Details.
What'd you say? Hornless two-legged unicorns?
Yes. So it's what we are. Good morning. If you would be willing to shut that door, making sure that it is on the track. I'm not sure if it is or not. Cool. Thank you. Because everybody's phones are on silent. Yay. Awesome. So I started the live stream so people can join us from a land far, far away, or maybe a house down the street. Which I like that we can have that option. Like, that's just cool. You know, like,
Yeah.
I know, and like, you know, it's not like they're not missing out, but y'all are totally missing out. Oh, it's so good to see y'all. It's so good to be here. How y'all doing? How y'all doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing all right. Everybody's feeling
Good.
good? What else? What else we got? Awesome.
Fabulous.
Fabulous.
Better shit.
Pretty shitty.
Well,
Well,
energetic.
energetic.
Yay.
Anybody else? How you feeling?
Content.
Relieved.
Relieved.
I made it. I went down the block and came back and I made it.
You made
I'm
it.
trying since 7:30 this morning.
Nice. You got relieved,
Oh.
content.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome.
Finally, I can bus drive.
Yeah.
Bus driver let me off down there.
And you made it, which is perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. So let's all just take a deep breath in. Just let it go. And before we drop in, I just want you to acknowledge yourself because you made it. You made it to today. You made it to this stage in your life called today. You made it. Wherever you came from, you made it. You have succeeded. You have not failed. You are breathing. You are alive. You made it. You made it. That's pretty dope. Some people didn't make it today. Right? There's some people that literally they didn't make it today. They didn't get out of bed today. They didn't wake up today. We made it. So acknowledge yourself and give yourself a little bit of like, fuck yeah, I made it. I made it today. I made it to today. And just let that wash over you as you take another deep breath in. And just let it go. I'm going to ring the tingshes. Take another breath in. And let it out. Just for a moment, keep your breath steady. Keep it full. Keep it expansive. Become present to where you are in this body and in this time, in this room, in this building, on this land, in this city, in this state, in this country, on this earth, in the cosmos. This beautiful speck of light that you get to embody in your fullness, right here and right now. Feeling the earth beneath you, holding you, giving you everything that you want and need. And feeling your breath giving you life. You okay?
No, I'm not okay.
Take another big breath in. And just let it go. And now we're here. Now we're here. It's good now to be. It's a good place to be. So I'm Jane, for those of you that don't know me. And this is Expansions, the spiritual dimension of wellness, which I think is extremely delicious because it is the one unifying force that connects everything in life, whatever that word is, right? Spirit, air, nothing connects us. That can't be denied. That nothing is what connects us. And that also everything connects us. So we get to acknowledge that every truth is real and every opinion is valid and all beliefs are accepted, whether we agree with them or not, in this space together. Hopefully beyond this space, but in this space for sure. So any opinions and viewpoints that are shared are to be honored and acknowledged, for they are a truth and a belief for someone that is sharing it, that is willing to share it. So I also hold the space so that everyone can be heard and to share your perspective and your belief, whatever that may be, in a safe place without judgment. So I just want to make sure we're all in alignment with that before we begin to talk about something that I have no idea what it is. And, it's a topic, spirituality is a topic that, people fight about. I'm right, you're wrong, those things. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page. So we all good with that? All right, cool. I want to say good morning to my mom who's joining us. Hello. So this topic came up recently for me, and I wanted to bring it forth, and I would like to expand upon it. And there's a statement, and if I mess it up, please realign it for me. But it has to do with thy will and my will. So I feel that, we grow up and we're immediately asked as children, what do you want to do? What do you want to be when you grow up? Right? Like really early on, we're asked that question. And kids are like, I like animals. What plays with animals? Veterinarians. I want to be a veterinarian. Yeah. Or I like to be outside and play. I want to be a park ranger, right? But they don't have an idea of what they want to be later on because they're too busy being now. They're living in their will in the now moment. And in that now moment, that aligns their will to divine will, right? Because when we look at the divine or great spirit or the oneness or the nothingness, it is pure presence. It is the presence of everything and nothing all at once. It's the I am, right? So this thy will and my will. So we're living in this space where it's like, well, my will, I'm getting through this. I made it, right? Like we kind of how we started off, like, yes, my will got me here today. If Jane's will didn't want for her enough, if I didn't want enough to get in my car and get here, right? To put my computer in the bag, to sit here, to open up, I wouldn't be doing it, right? So like there's this choice that I made to show up fully today. And sometimes, I don't know if y'all notice this, but like sometimes like my heels will dig in and I'm like, no, it's gotta be my way, right? Because my way is the right way. Exactly. So it is, right? My will is the right way. Your will is the right way. Your will is the right way. Nobody can tell you differently because you're like, no, this is my way. This is the right way, right? And so when we dig our heels into that, like, this is my way, right? We get really rigid. We don't have any flexibility and we don't get to open up to the perspective or ideas of any other way of being, okay? And there's this whole concept of thy will. What is it? Let thy will be done? Is that the statement?
I will be done, not mine.
Yeah.
Will you say that again? Because I don't know it.
I will be done, not mine.
Thy will be done, not mine.
That's one.
Okay. So that would translate-ish to the thy that we're talking about would be the thee. The I am, the great spirit, the love, peace, whatever the word is. Absolutely nothing. Whatever, right? Huh? Bob in the throne behind the moon, right? Yeah. So that is what's going to be done, not mine. So let's talk about this for a moment because I want to kind of like expand just this concept first of all. So just ask yourself in this moment, is my will what's driving this ship? Is it my will? Like, am I choosing all this stuff? Am I choosing to show up? Am I choosing to be healthy? Am I choosing to be well? Am I choosing to participate? Am I choosing to try? Am I choosing? Ask yourself. Okay. Show of hands. Show of hands. Yeah, I am making these choices. I am. Okay. Show of hands where you're like, nope, not me. Not it. So which one did you raise your hand for? Neither. Okay. Okay.
You brought me here.
Yeah.
Right? And so for those of you that said your will, that you got you here, just share with me why you said that. Again, there's no right or wrong. Like literally everybody's right.
Everybody can't do right.
Ah.
Everybody can't do right.
Yeah? Why not?
No, we got hot and cold. It don't mix.
Hot and cold is not right or
You get
wrong.
blame.
Yeah. So we have hot and cold, right?
Yeah.
So we have hot and cold. We have left and right. We have ends of a magnet. We have a positive and a negative. We have an up and a down. Now, it's only if I put my judgy pants on that I say that one is right and one is wrong. The door slides the other way. I saw little fingers. Right? It's like, so there's no right or wrong to anything. We have abolished judgment for this time together. So this time together, there is no right, there is no wrong. Okay? So just for this time together, that is not that opinion of it is not right is not welcome and it is wrong is not welcome. Okay? I just want to make that really clear. For this time together, there is no right and there is no wrong. Okay? Both of you had something to say. I don't know who had first. Okay, go ahead.
I just want to say real quick.
Yeah.
Actually, when you have hot and cold, they make warm. So there can be hot and cold together. It's called warm. I just wanted to say that. And
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
Okay, my name is Tommy, and I picked my will because my higher power gives me the strength to make a choice and do what I need to do on my own without a wheelchair or a walker or a back brace or to think on my own and just to be able to do all I'm able to do on my own, except for walking on a walking cane. That's improved a whole lot from the first time I got hit up until now. So that's why I picked my will. But it's my higher power that gives me the strength to do all I do on my own. So that's why I said me.
Thank you for speaking to that.
Yes, ma'am.
If anybody else said that it was your will, would you like to share on that?
I would for a
Yeah.
second. Well, to me, I mean, I have a car. So, and when I got up this morning, I was thinking about what I wanted to do and I decided I wanted to come here. And so I got in my car and I drove here. So that's why I said it was my choice to come here because I know it's here. Of course, it's not my choice that it's here because I didn't create this place. So that part of it's not my choice. But choosing from the options I have of things to do, I chose to come here.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Anyone else want to speak who said that it was your will that got you here? Okay.
Again,
I said, does anyone else want to share why they said that their will got them here? That your personal will got you here?
my choice, yeah, that's my will.
Okay.
Something is that.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. Yes.
Daryl, my name is Will, why I came here, because I have a plan. I have to have my plan. From months back, it takes time and patience. But planning and responsibility, being a man and being honest with myself, try to do the positive thing and stay positive. Like you say, you got negative, positive. It's still up and down, but there's always a middle part with negative. You will always have your country, they're going to tell you that, away with my will coming in. So this is my place I need to be at, to carry on with my responsibilities, my obligations, my priorities, and my cleanness.
Nice. Thank you for sharing that. So your will.
My will,
Your will. Okay.
my way.
Yeah. Yeah. My will, my way. That's a shirt right there,
Well,
doesn't it?
how?
It should be a shirt. My will, my way. Okay, so here's a question. So who said it's not your will that got you here, but thy will? Okay. So Robin, would you share?
Trying to make it simple, and this is just my belief, and my belief has changed over the years. I ran on self-will for many, many years. We call it self-will run riot. And doing what I wanted to do, I was the center of everything. So I made selfish decisions, I made self-centered decisions, I drank, I used. And so when I opened my eyes and I had the opportunity to get sober, I knew that I had not gotten myself sober because I wanted to drink to my death. And so I had a higher power at that point in time that wanted me to stay sober, obviously. And I made so many bad decisions, and I really realized I have a mental illness plus my alcoholism, and I can see my mental illness in some of my decision making, but now I don't have to do that. I have a higher power that's going to guide me. Now, in order to get there, I have to have prayer, meditation, and I have to work on that higher power. But what happens for me, like this morning, I woke up an hour late and I was like, shit, I can't get to my meeting this morning. And what's this all about? And I was shaking and running and hitting the coffee and hitting the cats. And finally I said, just calm down, kiddo. And by your higher power will you'll either get to do the things you want to do, or you'll leave out the meeting and it's not going to be the end of the world. And so I'm able, when I'm agitated, when I can't figure things out, I have a sponsor too to go to. And I don't think she's my higher power, but at least I get another thing. So I have a higher power that I can go to at any point if I can remember and say, I don't know what I'm doing. How about let's see what happens, kind of a deal. But it's not in my hands. Because the moment I take it back, I'm so selfish and self-centered. And the moment I take back my will, I'm going to do it for me. I want my will done. And you are wrong, baby.
Thank you for sharing that. Who else said thy will is what got you here? Would you share
My faith.
your faith?
He's brought me through a lot. He's brought me here from Florida. And I died in unconsciousness of a diabetic coma. I didn't know I was diabetic. I'm here and still breathing, still walking among us humans and creatures of, all sorts. Let me tell you, I'm staying at the Salvation Army right now, and let me tell you what. This is such a wonderful, wonderful place to come to, let me tell you.
I'm glad you're here.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm glad I made it. I'm walking by, I'll never forget that now.
Yeah.
Looking at the streets, and then I get down to 2100, I'm like, where the hell am I at? Where
Right.
is this place sticking out at me, right? Oh, I've been trying since this morning, 7:30 this morning.
So thy will got you here. Thank you for sharing that. Yeah. Then you had your hand up as well.
Oh, yeah, I'm just, I'm in a program called Dahlia Grove, and part of being in phase one is coming to PRN because I have IOP, which is intensive outpatient. It's an intensive outpatient program. I'm a recovering drug addict, and so I have IOP on Monday, Tuesday, and Friday. But on Wednesday and Thursday, I get to come here, and Tonya, who is the executive director, drives me here. But I'm at Dahlia Grove for a reason, and I feel like I'm here for a reason. And God kind of guided all of that stuff for me. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Thank you.
Anyone else said thy will got you here and not my will? Anyone else?
And my will got me here.
Right. I'm talking. Yeah, and you shared that. I'm asking about the thy willers. Thy willer.
Yeah, that will. That woke me up. And I'm here because he let me raise up and be alive again.
Ah, that's cool perspective. Thank you for sharing that. Anyone else before? Okay. So
Jane,
yes.
what is that word you're using? Viral?
Thy will.
Viral.
Thy, like THY, thy will,
Oh, thy
like
will,
a higher power.
thy will be done.
Mhm.
Right.
Yeah. So just take a deep breath. Because it feels good and you can.
Inhale, exhale.
Yeah, it's what we do. And we forget.
Yeah.
And, it's really interesting, this my will and thy will. Because they can both be viewed as the same thing. Because without thy will, how can my will be acted? Without my will, how can thy will be acted? Right? Like, if I have to have both. I have to have both. That's why I said all are true. Because did my will get me here? Yeah, it did. Did thy will get me here? Yeah, it did.
Woke me up.
Right? Well, what is thy will? Let's just kind of break that down a little bit. Thy will would be God's will, the goddess's will, the universe's will, source energy's will, love's will, right? Peace's will, joy's will, unity's will, right? That is thy. Whatever, it's an energetic frequency that doesn't have distortions of fear in it. It doesn't have distortions of judgment in it, or lack or stagnation programs. It's an energetic consciousness field of energy. Okay? So thy will is pure energy. That is what we are at the core. We are pure energy. We also have distortions in us because we still hold thoughts and ideas and programs of lack or judgment or fear or stagnation in us, like we do, right? Because that's the human, right? So that thy will is within us, and it is beyond us, because there is a well of energy that we came from, or transmuted from, or fractaled from, or alchemized out of. We came from something, whether the earth or a solar, whatever the word is. We came from a source of pure energy. That would be thy will in this scenario. Okay, so we're just going to use the words of thy will being pure source energy. Okay, that way it's kind of like holds everybody in the container of words. So if that pure source energy is guiding me, how would I know that that is what is guiding me and not just the distorted will of Jane, the distorted will that you, Robin, spoke of, the distorted will that is egoic, that is the distorted will of fear, where only the fear is guiding me, or only judgment is guiding my words and actions, right? Lack. Oh, there's not enough. And that's the only thing that drives my actions and my thoughts and my words. That is my will with distortions away from thy will. When thy will and my will work together, then I am living as the embodied divine. So then I'm like, okay, how do I know? How do I know if it's my will and thy will? How do I know that it's Jane making a decision and not just being like, oh no, nothing's my responsibility. I'm not accountable or anything. It's just thy will doing it, right? Or how is it just, no, it's all mine and it's nothing else. It's all mine. So how do I actually merge those two? How do I know the difference? So for me, and I'm curious what you all think and feel on this, for me, where it merges is where when Jane takes action, there is no fear. When Jane takes action, there's no judgment. When Jane speaks, there is no judgment. There's no lack. There's no lack mentality, no scarcity consciousness. There's enough for everybody. We live in an abundant universe because it's all energy. We can't get rid of it. Like, we are more abundant than we can imagine. And I'm moving, so that's not stagnant. Okay, so how do I know if it's mine or thy? Oh, it's because there's none of those distortions in my actions and my thoughts and my words, so that my actions and thoughts and words are pure. Meaning my thoughts and words and actions are that of love. They are of compassion. They are of acceptance, and they are creative, right?
How can you say that's yours?
That would be the merging of the two. That's how I know. That for me is how I know. Is because Jane will act in accordance to that source energy, right? And I can take accountability to say, yeah, I did show up that way. I did show up because I was inspired to show up. I wanted to. I had a desire to. I was called to it. Like, you know, that is, I heard a call. The call is my choice to answer it and then to take the request of what they asked. That's the combining of thy will and my will. My will was inspired to answer it. I wasn't afraid to answer it. Now, phone rings, you get this call, this inspiration, right? And it's like, oh God, what if it's a bill collector? Okay, so okay, cool. Many of us have experienced that. It's such a feeling, right? And then my will is answering it at that point, potentially, or not answering it,
Right.
right? Because I got a lot of fear going on. But if I'm like, whoa, yeah, you just felt a lot of fear. Okay, I'm safe to answer it, or it's safe to not answer it, whatever. You know, so that to me is the merging of the wills. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
From what I'm saying, like, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, how do you know if your will is merged with thy will? If your will is working with, in tandem, the pure energy source? How do you know? For you, for your own self. And my request is that you speak from the I.
I have a sense of just calm, like a euphoric feeling.
Do you feel that in your body and or your mind?
Both.
Nice.
More so
Okay.
in my body. I mean, I can feel the calmness, the openness to whatever. Okay, I can feel whatever that
Nice.
you know, will be what it's gonna be, and I have full confidence that I'm gonna be down the right path, whatever path the Lord takes me to.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. So you feel a sense of calm and peace in your mind and mostly in your body. It feels like your body opens up a little bit, and that's how you know that your will and thy will are kind of merged. Who else? How do you know? How do you experience it when you're like, you know, yeah, when I sit here and think this is what it is.
You know, Jane, I've learned that I have to work at it. It doesn't just come. And that prayer and meditation in the morning is when I ask to not be judgy, or I ask for my heart to open and have love. And then I enforce it on my walk in the morning. Please let me have my heart open for love. Please let me have my heart open for compassion. And then, you know, nobody knows what's going to happen. I can cuss you out the next minute, you know. But at least I feel like I'm trying to open myself to the better things in life and then become a better person. And that's how I do it, as I imagine all that.
Okay, so your will asked for it. Robin's will asked for it.
Right.
Robin's will said, hey, thy will, help me out. Okay.
Right.
So then after that, you've asked for it.
Uh-huh.
So what have you experienced when you're like, oh yeah, it did help me out because I acted this way?
I try to do it either at night or the next morning. Think if I've hurt anyone's feelings, or if I've said anything that I shouldn't say. And for me, my conscience pretty much tells me if I piss somebody off.
Yes, I love that you're sharing this. I'd like to keep expanding on this
Okay.
because thy will is the pure energy, right? So so I wouldn't be able to notice where thy will was done through me if I'm asking where it wasn't,
Oh, okay.
right? So if I ask at the end of the day in this example, where did I show up with thy will with me?
Uh-huh.
Where did I show up in love? Where did I speak kindly? Where was I compassionate?
Right.
Then I'll see a reflection of where my will and thy will was working together. But if I'm asking, where did I mess up? Where did I go short? What did I do wrong today so that I can be better tomorrow?
Uh-huh.
Thy will isn't there
Right.
because thy will doesn't judge,
Right.
right? So then I'm asking my heart to open to be judgmental, which it can't.
Right.
The heart does not judge. It's just not, it's not in the field of frequency of its ability. So I'd be curious if at the end of the day you asked, hey, where did I show up
Yeah.
in this love and kindness and all that?
Right.
And kind of see where those wills merged.
Okay.
Yeah.
Speaking of what happened, what y'all speaking of, this is my scenario of what y'all are saying. Because that's just like I said once before, you're not walking with a mirror looking at yourself from the time you wake up and see you reflections of what you're doing, how you're acting, and then you also can see other folks in the mirror, but you don't live like that. So that's kind of
Yes.
what I'm saying personally, because if you could see yourself every moment of the day, every second, day and night, even if you're damn asleep, okay.
Then you would know if you were doing your will or thy will. Right. I love that you said that. Let's expand. I love, this is called expansions. Hang on a second. I love that you said that. Let's expand on that. What if everyone in this room is a reflection of me?
Mm-hmm.
Then I actually do have mirrors of me reflecting back to me all the time of who and how I am, whether I'm expressing it or it's a version of me in a different timeline.
Just don't have to remember that.
Exactly. Right? Because in this moment, you are a reflection of me because we are from the one. Right?
Right.
So it's just, I'm seeing a different version of me talking with me. Right? So using that as this litmus test of, am I living with my will and thy will working together, is if I walk in a room, if everybody goes, oh shit, Jane's here, or go, right? And everybody tries to run out. Well, that's how maybe I get to check myself and be like, whoa, what am I doing? Because if I'm showing up as love, right, or as acceptance, if I just show up as unconditional, radical acceptance, people are going to feel safe around me, right? They're going to reflect that back.
Mm-hmm.
But if I show up wearing my judgy pants and I'm whether I'm acting like it or not, but if I'm even emitting that frequency of judgment, nobody wants to come near that shit.
Right. That's
So
so
we-
true.
Right? So we know that. So we have, so that mirror that we don't have, we actually do have that.
Right.
So to me, I'm glad you shared that, because that's a way for us to actually see in reflection, am I showing up with my will and thy will together? Are people responding in kind to me, or are they running the other direction? Do they light up when they see me, or do they go, ugh? You know what I mean?
Right.
Do they turn the phone off when I call? Or do they light up when the phone rings and they see it's me? Without judgment, my awareness of that can let me deeper connect my will with thy will. Right? Now, if I judge it, then my will is going to be the only thing that's going to start to take over. Well, what's because you need to be different. You need to be better. Hang on one second. I want to hear what you have to say, and then you.
So it's interesting you said that, because that's kind of where I was going. Being is one that doesn't believe in the lie specifically. For me, becoming a better person, I look more at trying to look at things from the other perspective, if that makes sense.
Mhm.
And try to learn a lesson whenever you do something, like when what this feels like, what this is like, and try to be a better person with people, so I don't feel like I have the thy, but it's what exactly is that? But yeah, for me, it's basically looking at things from other people's perspective and trying to always be that person. So my will is to be that. So it's kind to be
Hang on. I just want to get a clarification. Assuming that you're looking at the other person in like love.
exactly. That's
Okay,
what I'm
like
saying.
you're seeing them like on high.
Trying to see
Okay.
accept somebody for where they are. That's
Okay, got
kind of where I'm going with that.
And then
kind
of looking at you through their lens.
Yeah, exactly. Whenever possible. We're all human. Because for me, I'm not having a belief in the thy, I don't have somebody to do it for me. So I have to take that responsibility upon myself. And to not saying somebody that believes in the thy doesn't, but for me, that's what I would be doing since I don't. So I have to take the responsibility on myself and make myself that better person.
I would like to
And-
expand on this real quick if you don't mind.
Oh, I don't mind at all.
Do you believe in love?
I do.
So
And
what
I do
if-
believe in the soul.
Okay. So what if thy is just love? What if thy that I'm talking about, the thy, not the thee, totally different, but the thy, what if the thy is love? So then can my will merge with love,
Oh, love is important. I agree with that.
right? So that's how I see thy. Thy to me is love.
Yeah, I get that about you.
Yeah.
I get
So
that.
and I also honor that some people's words for love is God or he. That doesn't resonate for me. It is love for me.
Okay.
So for me, when I ask this question to myself, kind of like how Robin reflected, is my will merging, is Jane being love? That's the true question, right? If my will and thy will are merging, then that means that I am being in love.
For me, that would be being kind,
Right.
being considerate.
And so you check in with
To
that.
me, that's more of a goal.
Mm,
For me to be kind and considerate. I'm not saying that all people, but sometimes in our cultures, going way back since religion and government was created, we have used them as an excuse to not take personal responsibility for our own actions. And for me in my recovery, the most important part of my recovery is taking personal responsibility for my actions.
yes.
And trying to work on who I am as a person.
Will you pause there and don't let me forget the personal accountability because I want to go back to that.
Sure. But let me
Okay.
step out for a second.
Okay, Come back because I want to speak to that. I want to. Okay.
Go.
Okay.
Go ahead, I'll be
What were
right
you gonna say, and then Daryl?
Yeah, I say you have to be very careful these days. People so fucking hypocritical is a shame, and that's being real. Yeah, say one thing and do a doggone nothing.
Yeah.
So if you think people gonna push you backwards, leave them alone. And the hell with them. Cause you here for you. You the most important person in your life. You have to love you first before you can love anybody else.
Mhm.
And once you start loving you, I hate to say it this way, but this is real. No, that doesn't really matter until they come into you.
Mm-hmm. I love that you mentioned that. Thank you for sharing that. And do y'all ever notice that some people are kind of hypocrites? You ever notice that some people are kind of assholes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Real word.
And have you ever noticed that it's hard to give those people grace?
Ooh.
And have you ever noticed that you were them at one point in your own damn life?
Yes.
And that maybe some people weren't giving you the grace at that time? So that's where we get to be the change. That's where we get to recognize that I was an asshole before. I was a hypocrite before. Oh yes, I was. I was real good at that shit. And people didn't want to give me grace. They wanted to judge me. They wanted to leave me. They wanted to neglect me. They wanted to abuse me. And then they had reason to because of how I was showing up, right? Whatever. But here's the thing. As I continue to grow and evolve and recover who I am then my will and thy will, so Jane can be in love and offer grace and the deeper understanding that someone may not be acting with their will and love together, right? That they may not have welcomed that love in them as them, recognizing that, oh, I can be love, I am love, right? that I can choose, Jane's will can choose to offer them grace and still love them unconditionally. I may not like what they do. Do not get me wrong. I may hate their actions. And
You still got the love.
pardon?
You still got the love.
Exactly. And it's my choice. That's where Jane's will comes in.
Right.
It's my choice to love them because the love is still there for them.
Right.
And I can choose to say, no, you don't deserve my love because you're a hypocrite.
They love them. Yes.
Right? Or I can say, I choose to love you because you are a hypocrite.
Yes.
I don't like the hypocrisy.
The love.
Right? So that's a beautiful recognition for me when I realize like, oh, look at that. Like, I started shedding. And I was like, what is that? For me to recognize when I am acting without the will of love in me, as me. You know, and it's when other people are assholes that are really good opportunities for me to remember those things.
You're
Yes.
not being a parent.
Yeah.
For me, like when I know whether it's my will or thy will, I mean I'm full of agreement that it's both. You know, it takes for me, you know, it takes both. I can't do if I try to do just my will, I feel completely different than if they're in twin. What it kind of looks like for me is like signs, like my anxiety might start building up first. That's when I get to make the choice of, am I gonna feed this anxiety? Well, I'm gonna feed it, but just which way am I gonna feed it? And then when it starts to calm, when my mind starts to calm, when I'm not thinking about how am I gonna handle this, how is this person gonna react to me, blah, 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 blah. When my mind kind of calms down and that anxiety calms down and I still am moving, then that's when I'm just letting thy will be done. But if my anxiety is still going and I'm trying to plot out my next move of how everything I do right now is about to make this good or bad, then that's my will. And that's the place that I don't like being.
Yes. Thank you for speaking to that. Because my will wants to control. That's how we know the difference between my will and thy will, right? Hey, good morning. Because my will is going to want to control it. My will is going to want to be right. My will is going to want to point out someone else's shortcomings because it makes me feel better. My will needs to know what's going to happen. My will needs to know why everything happened.
Yeah.
Right? Thy will, the why, the answer to the why is, well, why not? Right? There is no control in love. Love just is. Thy will just is. It is just being love. So that's how I can tell, because my will, when it left to its own accord, will feel like a cage.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, oh, I am mad at everything because I can't control anything. You know, my mind is taking, and then I like glitch out and shit, right? But if I can open up to love or thy will or the infinite unknown, the void, then I can't help but relax because it gives me this sense of like, well, fuck it. I can't do anything about it. And then I get it. Then I get an idea, right? I get an inspired action, and that might be to, oh, I want to go do this thing. And then look, next thing you know, my will and thy will are starting to act together because I let Jane's will just calm down just a little bit, right? And I want to go in with kind of with what you were saying, kind of taking this to that, is that there's this personal accountability where balancing this personal accountability for the actions or the thoughts or the words that I have in my life, and let thy will hold me while I be accountable.
Yeah.
Right? So let thy will hold me in grace while I hold myself accountable for perhaps actions that did harm to myself or someone else. Right? So if Jane is judging me, if Jane is judging Jane for something that Jane has done, thy will is not holding that. I'm not actually holding accountability. I'm holding judgment. So for me, especially with a past that hasn't always been so much in light, I have a choice. I have a choice to look at everything that I've done with a really, really potent lens of judgment. I can. I could really look back at all that I've done and judge it all. Or I can hold myself accountable in love and say, yeah, I did those things. And I can still hold my head up high and proud for who I am now because of it, and not hold my head in shame for what I had done. So that's actually taking this my will and thy will in an accountability in a present moment, and hold myself in grace and clear communication, like, yeah, I did this stuff. And then to me, I am embodying this my will and thy will on a path through whatever recovery. Is I can be like, wow, yeah, I did some stupid stuff. I almost died a lot. Wow.
For me, that would be dwelling. I try not to dwell on past events by accountable. I mean, kind of, thinking about what I do stuff before I do it, and if I do something, try to learn from that for the future. But dwelling on past mistakes and shame, I think is definitely not helpful.
Right.
I agree with you.
When we look at the word dwelling, what is a dwelling?
Where you live?
It's where you live.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where do you live? It's home. Where is home? It's a safe place. So when we can dwell in a past experience in a safe way, then that's when we start to see gifts. That's when we get to learn lessons, right? If I'm just sitting in an experience that I went through, whether it was a traumatic experience from someone else or me using substances in a super unhealthy way, right? And I'm going to dwell in that. If Janesville gets activated, yeah, do it again. Oh, okay, cool. Awareness. I'm not healed with that. I don't want to sit in that one any longer, right? But if I can look back at that place, if I can dwell in that place of my past as yeah, I did it. This is what happened. This is who I got to meet. That was that rock bottom. Wow, I was a big hot mess. Man, that path out was really hard. Wow, I did a hard thing. Then I got out of that path. So then the dwelling in that past could actually be healing if we are holding it with love, right? So so everything has all sides to it, right? It's like to go into the past. How do you go? Do you go in love or do you go in judgment? Is it my will and thy will? Is my will going to my past so I can judge it, or is my will with thy will, with love, going into my past so I can grow and heal and share it with the world? So I can tell other people, I did it. I made it to today. No, it's a miracle.
My biggest fear all my life is paying bills. And I'm always afraid. I'm afraid 2 weeks before I have to pay it. And I'm always afraid I'm not going to have enough to live. And it consumes me. And what I'm trying to do in my new life is pay my bills. I might not eat, but I can pay my bills. And so what you've just said to me, and then when I pay my bill, I say, thank you, dear God, I did it. I think would be a better form for me is to hold it in grace with a higher power. When I pay my bill, somehow hold it in grace with a higher power and say, I don't know, what do I say? That was a good thing to do, Robin, or?
Well, what if you use the word higher power?
Mhm.
So what if as you pay the bills, you and higher power are paying the bills together?
Okay.
That the two of you are in that moment writing that check or clicking that button or walking it too.
Right.
That there is no separation, that the two of you are paying it in that now moment.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, please have it.
You can do whatever you want. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I'm getting ready to close and to close the circle and stuff. So if you just want to wait a couple more
Oh,
minutes.
that's fine.
Okay.
I'm-
Yeah. Yeah.
You've really raised a lot of things that I'm speechless right now, I can't even think of, there's so many things that you talked about, and it's made me think, it certainly has, and that's just blowing my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just everything, I mean, like you said, there's no good or bad or anything like that, and it's amazing, thank you.
You're
I
welcome.
thank you, because I don't know, I'm gonna be processing this for quite some time now, I gotta tell you, it's given me a lot to think about, and as old as I am, I can't believe it. Thank you, I suppose, everybody. I mean,
Thank
yeah,
you.
very enlightening.
If you could cover your mouth,
I tipped over.
if you could cover your mouth when you cough, that'd be great. Thanks.
Time tipped. But in a good.
Thank you.
Very good.
Thanks for being here. and Thank you for reflecting that
Oh,
and for
I'm-
sharing that.
Thank you for letting me be here. and
Yeah. I did.
appreciate it.
Of course.
Thanks, Bob.
I know, right? Thanks, Bob.
What up, Bob?
Right? Yeah.
I just was gonna say, this is so much, but I've been learning on this journey that once I began to question a lot of what I used to believe, a lot of what I was taught or led to, or however it came about, that wasn't sitting right with me. When I started looking at all that stuff and putting the why not to it, you know what I mean? I feel like I'm always continually growing, and I look forward to continuous days of growing, because I haven't even gotten to a point of where I'm into completely new things. I'm still, why not? Why you told me I couldn't do this, and why not? And I'm seeing that, hey, I can do that. So I don't know about everybody else, but I'm still trying to see the whole other sides of what they told me I couldn't do in those 20, 30 years I was out there doing stupid stuff.
Still processing.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, not really processing, I'm experiencing it. Like, I'm not processing anything. I've accepted the fact that there are no boundaries, there are no limits. So let me go back and enjoy everything that I held myself from doing. Like that dwelling place that you were speaking of, I completely agree with that. And the beautiful part about it is when my perspective changed to that, from that dwelling being a prison I couldn't get out of, now that dwelling this is just right here where I'm staying right now. But just like any other home, I can get up and move. So it no longer just kind of binds me to anything. So I can sit in this moment for a minute, and if I don't like it, cool, I'll leave it for somebody else. Like kind of like the nomads, you know what I mean? When you just go from house to house, whatever, and keep moving.
Yes.
That's what worked for me. You know?
Thanks for reflecting that. It feels good. Yes.
You ever heard this? Well, I'm just thinking back on what you just said. Growth is painful. Change is painful. But ain't nothing more painful than stuck on where you don't belong. You heard that?
I have heard it.
Yeah.
And it does, and it's interesting because it doesn't align with me as truth all the way. Because for me, pain is a state of mind, and I belong everywhere that I am. That's my belief.
How in the world then, Lady, have you?
Otherwise you wouldn't be there, right?
Exactly. I don't know. Like my life, my life, my life has gotten me to here. Seriously. But yeah, so that's how I know. Like wherever I am, the I am is. Wherever wherever I am also with love. I belong everywhere I am. Right? Now, that doesn't mean that I go places where other people agree with that. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I might walk into a space and they look at me, and based on either my gender, my skin color, my appearance, my tattoos, what I'm wearing, whatever, they'll look at me and they'll be like, you don't belong here. And you know what? That's okay that's where they are. But I know that if I am where I am, then I belong where I am.
Speak that.
You know?
Yeah, what a way to, I mean, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Different outlooks and perception. It's like, well, wait a minute, it does raise a lot of good questions.
Yeah.
And go with it, let's give it a shot, you know?
Yeah.
You are,
So
right?
then-
I mean, look at how happy you are, look at how
Yeah.
optimistic, how full of.
I like that, and that's what got you to here to everything that happened.
Oh, yeah.
Me as well.
Oh,
If
yeah.
It wasn't people like,
Yeah,
I should
yeah, I
have
wasn't
done
born
this
this
and I
way
should
at
have done
all.
that.
Yeah.
But if you didn't do one of those things, just one,
You wouldn't be
who
here.
you are today.
Exactly.
You wouldn't be right here, right now. So why think about changing that? Because that made you who you are.
Exactly. So, on that note, give yourself a little gratitude that you made it to here.
Yes, ma'am.
To this now. This now is a different now than it was an hour ago. You're not the same person. I'm not the same person. None of us are the same as we were an hour ago. We just expanded conversation around the one unifying thing around us. We are so amazing that we made it to here, and we're growing all the time, and we're expanding all the time. Would you all be willing to pause your conversation? Thanks. Like that we are here able to grow and expand together, and that we are open to this infinite possibilities of my will and thy will to start consciously working together. That means that Jane and Love can choose to work together all the time, and that I can give myself grace when I forget, and I can give others grace when they forget. And I can celebrate every now moment that I remember. And we can just go through this every day. I remembered, I forgot. I remembered, I forgot. Wait, it's me and Love. Okay, wait, okay, it's all good. It's all good. Right? So just take a big deep breath in, fill up one more time. And let it go. And just enter this day with a lot of gratitude and open mind and stuff to contemplate and to ponder. And thank yourselves for being here and for sharing. Thank you all for sharing and for being accepting of everyone's perspectives. I'm really, really grateful that everybody is able to be in the same space and share different perspectives in acceptance. This is where the world changes, just so y'all know those. This is how I feel. I feel the world changes because of this. So,
Right, absolutely.
right?
Right.
So enjoy this day, get sunshine, drink a lot of water, y'all. Like for real. Drink a lot of water.
Thank you, Jane.
Thank you so much. Thank y'all online. Bink.
It's my
I'll see you.
COVID bump.
I know, right? I know.
Nobody
I was
shakes hands during
I-
COVID, so
I
that's
don't
why I
shake
always
hands
do
for
this.
shit. I love y'all. Enjoy this day, okay?